Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Well, let's talk about January 6th.
It seems like that's in the news again. It made
Well,
headlines.
I remember January 6th. I remember I was listening to the Alex Jones show that summer when they were talking about it. And I
Oh,
was thinking to myself, you know what? Right now, I have some money saved up. I have some time. Maybe I'll go to DC. That could be cool. And then I
hmm.
thought about it and I said, I swear to God, people are going to think, dude, whatever. I thought it's a trap. I felt like it was a trap
Wow.
because right around that time, we were protesting for Red Pill Corner.
Yeah.
And there was this one girl who it wasn't enough to just go on the corner up here. She had to go down to LA and she wanted to be in the fight.
Mm.
So she went down one time to some
Like
protest in LA,
a big
a
protest
big
in the
protest,
big city.
and there was Antifa was there
Oh.
and they were throwing stuff and she was in the mix and I think somebody like almost assaulted her and there was a big to do, but she got lots of clicks on her Twitter post. So I
That's what she
started
wanted.
and I started to tell her, I said, dude, George Soros runs LA, dude. And
Mm.
when you go down there, you're going into the lion's den. Because what can happen when you go down to LA is some Antifa dude comes and throws a water balloon filled with piss and shit.
Ugh.
And then you get nailed by it, get all pissed off, and then you go start beating his crankhead ass. But then they pull out a camera and just film you beating him.
Right, right.
And then
They show one side of the story.
they show one side of the story
Yeah.
and then they juxtapose it as you were the
Violent.
agitator,
Yeah.
the violent agitator.
Yeah.
So I was already
Suspicious.
suspicious. So I decided to not go to January 6th. And
Mm.
then what happened happened.
Yeah. And uh it's interesting because you were saying that that event sort of showed Alex Jones and Donald Trump as like that was sort of like a wake up call that they were controlled opposition.
Yes. Now, especially with hindsight being 2020,
Yeah.
my reading of the tea leaves is that Trump is in bed with that country from 1948, and so is Alex.
Yeah.
And they orchestrated that as a big trap for white Americans.
Well, I think you're right because I thought it was interesting how when things started getting riled up, they just disappeared, you know. And then after that whole thing, they arrested all these patriots and they were thrown in jail without due process for like years.
Oh my God.
And Trump was supposedly like gonna get them all out and stuff, and he didn't. So it's like,
But he pardoned Jared Kushner's dad.
right, yeah, he did that, but he didn't get these poor people out that were like his Trump supporters,
Dude,
you
some of
know?
those dudes got thrown under the jail because kind of like in Minneapolis where they had Waltz and that little gay person from that country from 1948, that's the mayor of Minneapolis.
Yeah.
They were able to do evil shit because they had hijacked governance.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in DC.
Right.
What's her name? Her name is Muriel Bowser. And he just sounds like a hound dog.
Yeah.
Bowser.
Yeah.
Wasn't Bowser like the name of a like cartoon dog?
I'm picturing like a Saint Bernard. but not a cute one.
Dude, I wouldn't even name my dog Bowser.
No,
Bowser, come here. So,
that's
anyways,
that's probably not even her real name.
probably not.
It's probably like
It's by some MK Ultra
Belserstein.
spell. Bowser Steam. Well, she's a black lady, but who knows? Some of the blacks are totally like puppets of the media,
Yeah.
and they can be used. But
Well,
she was the one who was putting these guys underneath the jail. And then I've heard accounts that some of them were getting beaten, some of them were getting left
tortured.
tortured. They were getting left in cold temperatures in their underwear for like the temperature in the jail will be like 51 degrees, and they'll leave the dude
And
in a concrete cell with mold and in his underwear.
yeah, and they were I heard that like some of them were in isolation. They were in, you know, like what's it called when they
Solitary confinement
solitary confinement. Like why would that be necessary? So the
to
picture,
torture them
yeah,
for having the audacity to go against.
yeah, the picture that they painted was that these people were violent and they were storming the Capitol and you know, and it makes me so mad. This really makes me so mad because it's like that.
It does make you mad.
Yeah,
It's such an injustice.
because when when I read, we're going to get into like the whole like nitty gritty of this whole episode and where this stemmed from. But when I read like the comments and stuff from like people, they still believe the narrative that they were sold, which was, oh, these people were violent, they were rioters and they were
Oh,
storming
totally.
the Capitol and doing all this horrible stuff. And when you watch the footage of the people like being escorted in, basically like the cops were
Told
like,
to come in by the
yeah,
cops.
they were moving the velvet ropes and like showing them the way in and stuff.
Everybody's doing these prayer circles.
Yeah, and you see that and it just reminds me of the whole Porge Boyd
Poor
incident
boy.
that actually was the catalyst, one of the catalysts to waking me up about this whole fake world that we live in. Because when I listened to what they were saying on the news, and then I saw the whole, probably not, I don't know, it was like probably most of it. I saw this long video of him, the whole thing, and they were showing just snippets, and I saw the whole thing, and it didn't match up. What I saw with how they were treating him and what he was doing did not match up with what NBC was telling me happened.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Yeah, and he's sitting in the back seat like by himself, you
Doors
know?
wide open.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so the January 6th thing was that on steroids. It was like they told the world that the the people were rioters and they were
It was a gaslight.
it was a total gaslight.
They gaslighted
Yeah, they
us.
were storming the Capitol, and then meanwhile we see all these videos of them being escorted in and like shown the way
Totally.
in and everything
Remember
else.
the dude with the big buffalo hat?
Yeah,
And he had no shirt and he was painted red and white. He goes in and the cop literally gave him like a tour.
yeah,
And he shows him this rotunda,
yeah,
and then he takes him into this room,
yeah,
and the cop is guiding him. And he goes, "Hold on a second, I want to pray." And the cop lets him go up and pray over the area where our Congress meets.
yeah,
And then he's vilified and goes to jail for like 3 years and told that he's just this violent thug.
yeah. And then some of the ones that they did show doing violent stuff, it turns out that they were like, I think they were hired agitators.
Oh,
You know what I
totally.
mean?
That's what they came out in the wash. They were
Yeah,
all in the FBI.
yeah.
And
So,
Trump and Donald Trump and Alex Jones, they're both with the enemy, setting all this up.
yeah. So they painted this picture, the news, the media, the mainstream media painted this picture of this whole violent event that happened that the conservative side was, causing and everything. And like a large part of the population still believes that that's the true story. And so now what I saw in the headlines today was that the DOJ was purging news releases about January 6th because they were, Donald Trump says that they were propaganda.
which they were, because
Yeah.
all of the mainstream news coverage of January 6th was a complete lie and
Yeah.
fabrication of this narrative.
Right. So, but here's my question. Um, what they're saying is, so they're all these people, like I was reading a bunch of the comments and they're all like, oh, Trump is so horrible and the orange man needs to be stopped and rewriting history is a sign of tyranny and blah 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 and this and that. And I'm like, okay, that's true, but they still believe the story that they were told, and they,
See, that's an insidious media tactic right there.
yeah,
Truth, 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 lie.
yeah,
In the lie, it's like baked in and caramelized.
right.
So you eat it and you go, that was, oh, but wait a second.
And you saw those truth, so you don't really, you just ignore the lies. But the problem I have with it, so he is purging the news releases because it was propaganda, which yes it was, we saw that. But I'm wondering how, like, so basically they're rewriting history, but the history that they originally wrote was false. So what they reported and the story, the picture that they painted was false. So now I guess Donald Trump is rewriting it. But is that right? Like, do does that, is like, do two wrongs make a right? Like this reminds me of,
They're rewriting history too.
yeah, this
They're
reminds me
not.
of George Orwell, his book 1984, and one of my favorite lines, which was, they rewrote history day by day, minute by minute,
That
because
was his job.
this is what they do. This is what they've been doing for,
Ministry of Truth.
yeah, they've
And
been
now
doing
the
this.
Ministry of Truth is managing our understanding of January 6th.
Yeah, so now I guess if they take those fake headlines away that we know were, fake, and that's not the true story. If they take those away, um is are they going to put the correct story out there, and then is the real story going to be the one that goes down in the history books? So it just makes me wonder, like, how do we ever really know what's true in, like, in the newspapers and in history books? How do we ever really
You
know?
have to do what we do, which is we have to read the tea leaves.
Yeah.
And what did we learn? You can decipher the truth from the lies.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have to do. It's because they bake it in, it's caramelized in. It
Yeah.
reminds me, I just made a note because I wanted to, I thought about it a second ago. I didn't want to forget and I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, that's nice.
Um, my dad, um, when I was like in middle school and high school, my mom was still down in LA, and me and my dad lived in an apartment together. And my dad sucked at cooking, so mostly we just ate McDonald's and like went out,
Oh my
you know.
God.
But he decided, no, 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 I'm just gonna cook a steak and some potato for us here. So I go, all right, whatever. And it was kind of rare, but it was like, okay. So we sit down, and me and my dad, to have this steak and baked potato dinner, right?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Looked good too. He did the steak good because he's good at cooking steak. But
The potato is raw.
no, this is what happened. So we very rarely used the refrigerator because we ate out all the time. So what would happen is if we did have some product in there, it could potentially be in there for years.
Oh God.
So he makes this pretty good looking steak, and the baked potatoes all microwaved and all hot and steamy. So I put a big thing of butter because I like to put lots of butter on my baked potato.
Uh-huh.
So I go and I dig in, I take a bite, but the butter had gone bad
Ew.
and it
Wow,
was
that takes a lot.
sour.
That takes a lot. Butter lasts a long time.
It's had to been a long time it was in there.
Wow.
So the butter was bad.
Ew.
So the butter had this weird thing where I took a bite of the potato and it tasted good in my mouth, but then it had this weird aftertaste of rot.
Ew.
And so I was like, what the hell? And then he took a bite and he did the same thing. And then we both tried to go, that's just nothing. And then we tried to take another bite, and then both of us just went, oh my God. So we had to just throw it away. And then we didn't want the steak either. So we ended up just going to McDonald's anyway. Going to pizza or something. But it reminds me that potato is the news.
Ah.
So sometimes it looks good.
Yeah.
And it tastes good right when you taste it, but then you go, wait a
It
second,
leaves an aftertaste.
it's that aftertaste of lies.
There's a rancid aftertaste of lies.
And it comes into your mouth and you go, ugh.
It permeates.
And I say, listen to that.
Right.
Because otherwise you're just going to eat a rotten potato
Yeah.
with rotten butter,
That's
get sick.
such a good analogy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So you have to be aware. So that's what they did with January 6th.
That's totally what they did. But this rewriting of the story,
I
um,
hate that.
I hate that because we know that they're doing that, and basically, like right now, they're out just admitting, like, yes, we do this, but this time it's for a good reason.
And then our takes are dismissed as
Yeah,
conspiracy theories
yeah.
and you guys are weirdos.
But
And that's annoying.
then so we agree with the version that they're removing. That we agree that that's false and it shouldn't be in the history books. But the other side thinks that this is terrible because they're taking out, history and rewriting it. So how do we ever really know if like the real version is the one that like got put down in the history books?
I think you have to use discernment, and you also have to see the truth will bear itself out over time.
Well,
And the thing now today, it sucks, but you have to give things time. Like now, January 6th, I understand it completely now. Whereas when it was happening, there was kind of a fog of confusion.
yeah, you kind of got to wait, let it simmer and let the dust settle and see like more facts.
I trusted Trump and Alex Jones at in 2021.
But
I think I was
also,
on board with both of them.
this brings me to another thing that this is a point that I brought up once before, which is everyone kind of has their own version of history too. Like
Hmm.
now, there's the truth and the actual facts of what actually happened,
Hmm.
and then there's your perception, and then there's my perception.
Hmm.
Like we were talking about the cooties fiasco, and I said, whatever goes down in the history books about that, it's going to be obviously it'll be the mainstream media idea, and you're never really going to know. Like people, 50 years from now they're going to read about it and be like, oh, it was like the Spanish flu or the plague of 1908 or whatever, but they're never really going to know how it really was. The only way to know is to ask somebody who lived through it. But remember, I was telling you, people had different versions of what was happening. Like, if you asked, if like my grandchildren asked me what was actually happening, I would tell them it was all a big scam and they tried to scare people and they terrorized people for years and, to try to force inject them with this poison and they like terrified people on a mass scale and brainwashed and hypnotized people. But if you ask somebody else's grandma who is a person right now who's wandering the streets wearing a mask still because she's terrified of cooties, that person would have a completely other story to tell her
She's gonna be
grandchildren.
like, "Oh, COVID changed everything," and actually, still, I'm terrified of it. And now
Yeah,
we got hantavirus,
it was a deadly pandemic that led to more pandemics, and we started having pandemics every like 2 years, and
or you know what? They'll have
millions of
they have
people
new Kool
died
Aid
from
now.
it.
They have new Kool Aid now. It's like, well, global warming has
Yeah,
caused like all of these viruses that were trapped in the rainforest because we keep cutting them down.
they were trapped.
They've
Yeah,
escaped.
now
Yeah,
they all come out. Yeah, so do you see what I'm saying though? It's like it's really hard to know what is actual truth and what is fabrication and what is somebody's interpretation,
that's right,
you
and that's
know?
why I didn't go to January 6th because I listened to my gut.
Yeah.
Because I was at that time completely convinced that the 2020 election was stolen.
Yeah.
I was convinced that our elections were rigged. So I agree with that. And I agreed that we should go and protest because I really felt like the election was rigged. But now I look at it in 2026 and I go, you know what? Trump is controlled opposition. And Alex Jones, who orchestrated January 6th, he was like the cheerleader on site. He's uh,
Controlled opposition.
controlled opposition. Like you see Alex today, he comes out that video and he goes, dude, no, Sebastian Gorka, he and his anti-Semitisms they're running like programs in America for that country from 1948. But I'm not one of these Nazis that does it. There's good patriotic people from that country from 1948. So he's like managing your takeaway.
Mm-hmm.
So now I understand. And Trump is the same way.
Yeah.
Trump is going, no, 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 they're our ally. And if you say anything bad about them, we put you in jail.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
totally.
So you know that they're both in bed with that country from 1948 now. And now when you look at January 6th through that lens, it starts to become clear.
Right.
Now you see that they fomented all of this hatred and anger. As a matter of fact, the election rigging was probably all part of it. And
Could be.
showing people the election rigging, and because
Oh,
that was to stoke their anger.
yeah, that just got people so angry.
Because
Yeah.
and then how this is how insidious. So now I'm starting to see it was all a script. They stick Biden in there, and Biden is this pooping his pants retard who goes, "I'm losing my patience, sir. Get your shots." And he's got his degenerate son. He gets thrown in there,
Right.
and on the auspices of a rigged election, and that was all rage porn.
Mm-hmm.
That got everybody enraged. So you did have these enraged people there,
Yeah, true.
and rage was a part of the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people from that country from 1948, the puppet masters, they went good, good, good. So what we're going to do is we're going to send like 100 operatives in there to go and do a bunch of really fucked up shit, and then we're going to blame it on that whole MAGA crowd, and
Right.
we're going to paint them as a bunch of angry
Nazis.
Nazi anarchists who are just out for chaos and disorder. But actually, it was mostly like prayerful white Christians.
Yeah,
That's who was there.
right.
If you look at any of the footage of the diaspora of the people attending the event, it was mostly prayerful white, like suburban people
Totally.
from all across the country
Right.
who were convinced that it was a rigged election. But now I'm starting to see the rigged election was all part of the script.
Mm-hmm.
What do you
I
think?
think you're right. I think, I
It
mean,
was rage porn
yeah, and
because the puppet masters control everything.
yeah. And so why do you think that they would do that? Why would they want people to get so mad and riled up like that?
I think what they wanted to do was be able to vilify that whole group and just call MAGA a bunch of angry white people.
Mm,
And just don't even listen to them. They're just hateful racists.
yeah.
That's what I think. And then you have them all show up at the Capitol, and then you have a few bad actors go do some stuff. Then you can just say, that whole crowd of 1 million people, look at what they did. And we just need to abandon maggots. Let's just kill them all.
Right.
I think that was it.
Yeah.
Because they don't really want white suburban Christians existing anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're in the way of total communist takeover of this country.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody else in the way.
And so like Donald Trump and Alex Jones were part of the plan
Oh,
to like create this chaos so that
that's what I'm seeing.
the communist takeover could actually start to happen.
Trump and Alex Jones are betrayers,
Hmm.
and they're evil deceivers. And they lie to people to get them into this trap so that we can all be vilified as angry white people. Because um, if you think about it, we've talked about this. Who's going to push back against the Culture Club? Who is going to push back against Culture Club? It's not going to be a bunch of blacks.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a bunch of Latinos.
No.
It's not going to be a bunch of people from that country from 1948 because
No.
they're like, no, 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 I like this. The only people that we have is white America. And white America right now is completely screwed up. There's no cohesiveness to them.
No.
White America has
No.
a bunch of like leftists.
Yeah, so they've got us all divided. So,
Hmm.
with us divided like that, that kind of cuts the army down in half right there.
Cuts it in half.
You know,
And then you take the ones that are the real threat, the conservatives, and you vilify them as white, hateful racists that went into the rotunda.
Mm-hmm.
And did you see that Yahoo article? They said, and they were attacking with makeshift flagpoles and flags. They were attacking cops with flags.
Can't imagine like how hard you'd have to like swing a flag to really hurt somebody.
Attacked with a flag, and then one guy used a podium. He attacked with a podium. It's like, no. And then they had the one dude that went to jail. I saw an interview with him. I think he got like 6 months in jail, and they showed the footage of him. All he did was go into Nancy Pelosi's desk and sit in her desk and drink a beer.
Oh.
And he put his feet on her desk and
Uh-huh.
drank a Coors Light. And she acted like that guy might as well have been Sirhan Sirhan. You know what I'm saying?
She was scared for her life.
And then you had Chuck Schumer, who famously tried to act like he was just a regular guy barbecuing. And he comes out and he goes, January 6th was worse than 9/11.
I know. It was so ridiculous. They made it out like it was just this like huge disaster.
Worse than 9/11, which
Yeah.
me and other people from that country from 1948 orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
This one we orchestrated too, and it was worse. But wait a second. The only people that died were that one cop did die. He had a heart attack.
He had like a stroke or something, but like
Next
a
day,
day later. Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
really say he died on January
No.
6th.
No.
Then they had uh, that one lady, I can't remember her name, but she got trampled in the tunnel.
Yeah.
And that's a horrific way to die.
Yeah.
She got trampled in the tunnel, and they proved that it was because the cops were stopping them and their people were getting stampeded because the cops were corralling them into this crucible where she
Mm-hmm.
got trampled. So that was the cops' fault. Her death was the cops' fault.
Right.
Then there was the other girl who was in the military, and she went, which is stupid. She broke a window and was climbing into the rotunda through a window, which that's stupid.
I thought did she break the window or did somebody else break it and she was just climbing through it?
Maybe.
I think
Even still, that's
yeah.
kind of dumb.
Yeah, it is dumb.
You're being an idiot.
Yeah.
You probably, if you have any reservations, you probably shouldn't enter into a government facility.
Through a broken window.
Through a broken window. And just like climbing in. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, she was completely unarmed. And this angry, hateful black dude shot her in the neck and killed her.
Yeah.
That was not necessary. He
No.
could have just walked up to her, waited for her to climb in, said, "Put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest.
Right. Like like he wouldn't be able to take her down.
Give me a break."
Yeah.
And then now he has been like put up as a hero in the left because they hate white
Oh,
people.
because he took down that dangerous woman that was like
Yeah.
breaking into the Capitol
Oh,
building.
there's a lot of blacks who love that he killed a white girl. They're just like, you go kill that white girl.
Wow.
So he's been like,
And then there's all the white Karens who are like, that's right. That's a
oh
good
yeah,
thing.
oh yeah, all the white Karens. I go, see, she's such a Trump supporter. She got what she deserved. And I think those were the only two
Yeah,
deaths.
I think so.
And then so there it wasn't this horrific scene
Yeah, like comparing it to 9/11, that made me so mad too. I mean, how many thousands of people died on 9/11? You
at the
know?
hands of those people from that country from
Yeah,
1948.
yeah.
And then how about all of the Congress people who were in the building when they came in? Like, did you see the footage of them cowering under chairs?
Yeah, yeah,
Like laying down, like, I'm so terrified.
yeah,
Like they're terrified of their own constituency.
yeah,
That's what that showed me.
exactly.
They are terrified of the people they rule over
Hmm.
because they're lying to them and screwing them over.
Right.
So you should be terrified. As a matter of fact, that's a really good point.
Hmm.
Tucker said the other day that the elites are terrified of the plebs right now. And that January 6th footage of all of the Congress people who were still in the Capitol building when people actually, like, I guess you call it breached, but it wasn't really a breach. The cops like opened up the ropes and said, "Come on
Yeah,
in."
yeah,
So it wasn't a breach, but they were cowering underneath chairs, like as if people were literally like Attila the Hun had just come in with his raiding hordes.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's all narrative and it's all They're all trying to get the elicit the appropriate response out of their brainwashed masses.
Exactly.
And now they're going to erase these. It's not they're not erasing security camera footage. It's
The
news reels,
the press releases.
which were done probably by the Biden administration.
Right.
So they're all total leftist propaganda.
Yeah. So that's what they're saying Trump is like erasing or deleting
But do you see
those.
now? There you can see the controlled opposition.
Right.
You can see that the left is not controlled opposition. The left is simply
Opposition.
opposition.
Yeah.
They are just Satan goes, do this, and they go, okay.
Yeah.
The right, they have to have controlled opposition. So they have people like Trump and Alex Jones who work for that country from 1948 but act like they don't. So the left comes out and totally spins the narrative, like that Yahoo article that we read today.
Right.
Totally spins the narrative, but the right is complicit in the narrative too, and they play into the narrative.
Right.
So there's this full on, it's like theater.
It is.
It's like we're watching theater unfold, and you have these two false dynamics, like the Republicans and the Democrats. Those are both false dynamics because the Republicans are a bunch of liars and the Democrats are a bunch of liars, but they're both controlled by puppet masters above them, and the January 6th is where they kind of bat them against each other.
Exactly. So what would you say to people who are like, "Oh no, Trump's a good guy," and why are you saying that, he's controlled opposition. He's doing so much good for us. He's a good guy. How do you
I
say that he like orchestrated that whole thing?
Well, I think that he riled everybody up with the voter fraud thing. He got everybody pissed off, and now I'm starting to think that was all just a narrative. Yes, our elections are rigged, but it's like the potato that my dad made. The elections are rigged, so it looks tasty. Yeah, the election's rigged, but then you taste the butter and you go, "This butter is rancid, dude." And the butter that's rancid is that the elections are rigged, but the Republicans and the Democrats are both in on the rigging.
Right.
Trump's not a victim of voter fraud. Trump's an actor playing a role of a president who lost an election to voter fraud.
Yeah. I mean, I never thought that until I saw him get into office this time and saw how he was, um, so getting to so chummy wummy with that country from 1948. Yeah,
You're
and
doing a great job.
saying how anybody who speaks badly about that country or asks questions about it should be going to jail.
Totally. Look
You
at what
know,
he's doing with Sebastian Gorka.
right?
That guy is at the behest of Donald Trump, going and cracking down on Americans who speak against that country from 1948.
Yeah, like, so do we not have free speech anymore?
Yeah,
We have
we have,
free-ish speech.
because Elon Musk is too inch.
Yeah,
And remember, uh,
yes.
Bridget, what did she
Rich
say?
It said free speech has a code.
It has a code. I love your free speech, and we love Americans, and we love free speech, but it has to have a code. So you love Americans, you
No.
love free speech, but you want to remove free
Yeah,
speech.
no, it doesn't have a code. Free speech means you can speak freely,
You can speak freely.
and it shouldn't have like these parameters, I mean, you can't like go in and yell like fire in a crowded theater or whatever, but free speech means you can speak badly about somebody, and
Totally.
that's your right, and they have the right to not listen to it, and you know like we all learned when we were kids, sticks and stones may hurt our bones, but dirty words will never hurt us.
You heard it differently.
Oh, wait, how did you hear?
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me.
Oh, okay.
So it was always supposed to be like, you can call me names, meaning you have freedom, you're entitled to your opinion,
Right.
but you don't hurt me.
Yeah. So
That's what freedom of speech is
that's
supposed to be.
freedom of speech. You can say whatever, and just because you say it doesn't mean that, the other person has to believe it or even listen to it, but
Well, now,
you have the right to say it. But now
now it's not only
we
that.
don't have the right to say it.
Not only do you not have the right to say it, I don't think it's about criticizing groups anymore. You're not allowed to say the truth.
Right.
That's what's illegal.
You're not allowed to question certain things.
Yeah,
If you question certain things, we've seen headlines where they've put people in jail for questioning certain things.
totally.
You know,
They want to do that here.
yeah,
UK, you can get locked up for saying stuff.
yeah.
They
So
want to do that here.
how that's not free speech.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, locking people up from January 6th was a lot of those people got locked up for erroneous reasons.
Exactly.
They were just practicing their freedom of speech.
So that all of that makes kind of made me realize that Trump is totally being controlled by that country from 1948, and
More and more evidence of that.
that makes me realize that he's controlled opposition.
He's controlled opposition. In January 6th, you can see how it was a controlled opposition. It was like a move. It was
Hmm.
like a strategic move.
Right.
It was an operation.
It was an operation. Yeah, totally.
It was an operation that was started off with media.
Mhm.
So you can see, let's talk about how did the January 6th operation work according to our reading of the tea leaves there.
Okay.
So where did the January 6th operation begin? 2020 election. So with the 2020 election, there was the Biden spike. Do you remember that at 3 in the morning?
Yes,
So
totally.
all of the votes are coming in, they're being tallied, and there's these perfect arcs,
Yeah. And
and
it was
then
just sort of like,
Trump is ahead,
yeah, it was just sort of like, looked like a normal kind of race, you
looked like a
know?
normal race, and then all of a sudden voting stops, all the lights go dark, and then at 3 in the morning, Biden is declared the victor, and then when they show that graph, there's like this spike where he just gets enough votes to just put him over the top.
Right.
And it was all
Just
predicated
all of a sudden.
and it was all predicated on these mail-in ballots that those chicks in Atlanta were like moving the pallets around.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that was all
I
orchestrated.
think so too. Because why did we see that, and why were we allowed to see that? You know what I mean?
That's it. It was rage porn.
Yeah.
They wanted you to see that
Yeah.
because what they want you to do is get all pissed off and go to the January 6th rally.
Right.
And a lot of people did. There
You
was a
know,
million people there.
you know how we had that episode about every big event, there's a precursor to that
Mhm.
event. There's a big event that leads up to and paves the way for the
Yes.
next big event.
Yes, yes.
So that all of that um, election rigging thing was probably the precursor that they needed to pave the road and lead up to January 6th.
And then you had other controlled opposition, like in my opinion, Dinesh D'Souza. I
Yeah.
think he's controlled opposition. He's probably brought here from India and told you will be controlled opposition or you would go back to India. And he was like, no problem, I will make a documentary.
Yeah.
So he makes these documentaries that foment hate and anger.
Mhm.
That's what Dinesh's role
That's
is.
his job.
His job is to come out and be an Indian guy who acts like he's on your white side, but he actually hates you and he's just fomenting rage porn.
Mm,
So he made this documentary called, what was it, 10,000 Mules?
10,000 mules.
And I believe that was true. That was them revealing the method.
Right.
They showed how our elections are handled.
Hmm.
And it was across the country, all of these mail-in ballots that just completely rigged the election.
Ballots from dead people and,
Dead people.
yeah.
And there was like all these mules
Hmm.
that would go and bring ballots to these ballot boxes, and they were all fraudulent, and they would just dump them into these ballot boxes,
Yeah.
and they'd be on video. They showed that to us on purpose.
Right. And just as a side note, all the COVID garbage was one thing that came out of that was, oh, we have to have mail-in ballots
Oh yeah,
because
so
it's too
actually,
dangerous to go
the
vote.
January 6th operation goes back to COVID.
Hmm.
COVID was instrumental because it ushered in this mail-in ballot era
Right.
where it's scary cooties. We can't vote in person. You can just go to the mailbox.
Yeah, and then it turned into this like voting is like a week-long thing now, where it used to be one day you went and voted.
We don't tally the actual results until about a week and a half later.
Right.
And that's after we've made sure that we put the right person on top. So I think Cooties was the predecessor, and then the election was a complete fraud, and then the news coverage and Dinesh D'Souza documentary and Alex and a lot of conservatives, they fomented the rage
Mm,
leading up to January 6th.
mm.
So the election was November 3rd. So December 3rd, January 3rd. So you're talking 2 months. 2 months, and Alex was instrumental every single day, just talking about election fraud, every single day,
Yeah,
making you realize that you live in this hijacked country.
yeah,
And I think that was when they were revealing the method. They were going, you live in a hijacked country, your elections are rigged, and I believe that. But what they wanted you to believe is we're the good guys. We're the ones getting screwed. But
right.
they're playing the role of the good guys. So Alex Jones is not really getting attacked. His $1 billion lawsuit from Sandy Hook, all of that's a big fugazi. He's still tan, goes on vacation, and is driving his sports cars while he's doing his check-ins. So
Yeah,
that's all fake. He plays the role of someone who's under attack.
yeah.
So does Trump.
Mhm.
And the January 6th thing was him playing the role of someone under attack. And he goes out there and he gives this speech. And remember, Trump gave a speech on January 6th.
Right.
And he said, everybody just go home now.
I know. That was super weird.
Just go home now. We want to be peaceful. Even though I fomented hate and rage for the last few months and told you that our elections are rigged and told you all to come down here and try to have our Congress not certify it, I told you guys to do that. But now just go home now.
Yeah.
Go on home. I'm in charge. We'll take care of it.
And then he just disappeared.
And then he goes and plays golf for 4 years.
Yeah.
And then we're left with Biden.
Yeah.
So then the people that get arrested, they get thrown under the jail and tortured as long as they're white.
Some of them in there for years.
Totally still there.
Yeah.
Still
Oh
there.
my God.
Waiting on a trial where you're supposed to, in this country,
You're supposed to have due process.
due process in a speedy trial.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have a speedy trial, but Muriel Bowser and a bunch of blacks, they take any opportunity to hate whites and hurt whites. That's what I saw was going on there. I saw this one dude, he was interviewed, he got finally let out. He was talking about how they literally are racist. They hate white people in the Washington, D.C. jail.
Wow.
So they'll send people down there to just go beat you up and just like fuck with your food and shit if you're white.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was part and parcel of the program. And then now you're in the aftermath of the operation, which is the media spin.
Hmm.
And the media spin is those Trump supporters are just wild, out of control anarchists that were just praying and calmly walking around,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
ushered into the building and they're going and praying, you
Yeah.
know.
But people are still believing that news narrative. They're still believing that.
And I think people um, swallow a lot of lies because they're filled with hate,
Yeah.
and the hate is placated by the media lies. So the media has gotten us all to be a hateful nation. We're all filled with rage and hate, and then they placate your hate. And they
Hmm.
tell you little tidbits of information that kind of massage your hate, you know?
So what is white pill?
Well, I think white pill now these days is you need to be able to understand what's going on. Alex Jones is controlled opposition. Trump is controlled opposition. There is no Democrat. There is no Republican. There's that country from 1948 who controls our Congress and our media. They want to take over this country, and they did this operation. And so you need to read the tea leaves and you got to kind of do like I did. Like I had the money and the time to go to January 6th. And I said, no, I'm not going to go because it's a trap. So you got to be able to trust your gut. You got to have situational awareness. You got to be aware and white pilled enough and blue and red pilled enough to know when you're being lured into a trap. You have to understand the dynamics of controlled opposition so that this doesn't happen again. And we can now, the white pill is we need to take our country back from these people.
Right.
That's the white pill.
So I think the best way for this kind of thing to happen is for people to, like you said, be aware of this and realize like we don't have like a good side and a bad side or whatever, or two different sides, and trust that these people are going to fix the situation. We have to realize that um, they're all working together to basically drive us into like this one world government and communism,
Communism.
you know,
Yep.
and realize that communism is not the way. Like it's never good.
It's never good.
It never works out good for the people.
No.
Like they're bringing up this generation now to think that you know, like communism is a good thing and that you're going to get all this free stuff and the government's going to take care of you. We don't want the government taking care of us
No.
like that. That's not a good thing,
No.
because what that does is, like a lot of people, I think they think like, oh, you're going to tax the rich and take everything from the rich. Well, I don't think that's really fair either, because if somebody's rich and they worked really hard to get to that position, why should they just have to give it away, But what ends up
Totally.
happening really is they end up, eliminating the middle class.
That's all they
So
want to do.
there's going to be the very, very rich at the top, and then there's going to be everybody else at the bottom.
It's feudalism.
Yeah. And I don't think people realize that when they say, tax the rich. What ends up happening is the middle class ends up dying out and nobody has anything anymore, because just like what they keep telling us, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. They don't want us to own anything or to be, autonomous. They want us to
Mhm.
rely on them for
Them.
everything.
Whereas our founding fathers didn't want that. They
Right.
wanted us to have independence.
And when
And
I see Trump, you know, like doing all this stuff to like sort of, pledge his allegiance to Israel, I just think that's
it's
like it's
disgusting.
disgusting. You should be, if you're a leader in this country, you should be pledging your allegiance to this country only. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
totally. Totally. And
But
then
when you've got somebody from like another country, funding your campaign, whatever, and backing you, that doesn't sit well with me.
Adelson.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
Miriam
got 100
Adelson.
million from that person. They're from that country from 1948. Don't worry about
Mhm.
it. Yeah, though they're our best ally, and we need to support them.
And that's what, a lot of people are being led astray by their pastors, because I hear a lot of like my friends who go to church and they're like, but my pastor says that, that's our biggest ally.
We're going to do an episode on that
We
because
are.
I think Christian churches have become cults,
Yeah.
and the cult leaders manage everybody's understanding of
What's
world
happening.
events.
Yeah.
And they go, no, 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 this is what's going on. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So let's dig into the white pill a little bit more. So what can we do to, I guess what we keep saying is we just more people need to be aware of what's going on, you know,
Yeah, you
and
can't fall for the lies.
no, you can't just, take a blue pill and think that everything's under control and the white hats have everything under
I don't
control.
believe that. I
Yeah.
don't want to believe that
Yeah.
that's going on.
I mean,
Can't be like that.
you can't be like that, because then it keeps happening. I think the more people that understand kind of really what is going on, the more control that we have over the situation,
Yes, I
you
think
know?
you're right. I think you have to be brave enough to be realistic about the fact that you don't have anybody in the arena fighting for you right now. If you're an American and you're listening to this, or if you're in any country right now, we are hijacked globally.
Exactly.
Because look at the UK and Australia and
Yeah.
Canada.
And they are trying to just basically make this a one world government. So
Totally.
that's what they want. They don't really want countries. That's why they're flooding every country with all these third world people because they want to get rid of cultures in each country and,
Yeah,
just basically make each country sort of like a stew of of
totally.
stew of people,
Yeah.
instead of like a main dish that belongs in that
Like we
country.
were talking about with milk, it gets homogenized.
Yeah,
That's what they want. They want a
we don't
homogeneous population.
we don't want
No,
homogenized.
no. And the other thing, they don't want any countries because that means dissent. They have
Mhm.
an agenda and they want everybody to be on board.
Right. So if you have a homogenized world and you have every country is just like a mixture of everything else, um, there's no like culture of like patriotism. Like you have no, feeling of like this is my country and
Mhm.
like we're all from this country because all you have is just people from everywhere, everywhere. People from everywhere, everywhere, you
Totally,
know?
totally. And there's no cultural norms anymore. And then you also have people who still want to buy into this left-right paradigm. And they still want to think that they have good people in there fighting the battle for them,
Yeah.
you know? So what the white pill is you have to understand that there's a culture club and you can't align with it. Because there's some people who might say, why don't you just get on board? Stop fighting and resisting. It'll be so much easier. Just abandon all of your resistance and just align with it.
You just take a blue pill.
And just take a blue pill and just go along with it. But it's evil. It's evil. They want to corral us into ghettos and kill us. And they want to remove our rights and they want to control us and they want to exterminate us. So you can't just go along with it. So the white pill is you have to understand that there's a culture club that's taken over. They're controlling the media. There is no Republican, there is no Democrat. And right now, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have anybody in the arena fighting the good fight for us.
Yeah. What were you telling me you heard about Trump in line to be like the I guess sort of the king of the world.
He
Um
said that he
yeah,
goes, I'm going to make that country from 1948 great again.
yeah.
Oh no, he said, I'm going to be the next prime minister
I'm going to be the next prime minister of Israel.
of Israel. That's
What
what I'm going to do.
I mean, what a weird thing for our president to say, right? Well, how could he be the prime minister of another country?
Well, that goes back to David Goldberg or Goldfink or Goldstein, whatever that guy's name was, who back in 2019 he made a audio. It wasn't even a video, it was an audio, and it was obscure, but it was out there, and he got killed. Literally during the audio, he goes to the window and he goes, "There's a weird fan outside."
Oh God.
And then you go and you can find articles about him, dude. He got killed the next day. So he came out and he said Trump got approached by that country from 1948 in 2014 or 2013, and they said, here's our plan. Everything's going to be a reality show, and you're going to be the star of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to, through controlled opposition and the media, we're going to destroy America. We're going to dissolve America. We're going to have a one world government formed. And you're going to be the king, the first king of that one world government located in that country from 1948. And I think that kind of looks like that's their plan.
So when Trump says I'm going to be the prime minister of Israel, that's part of the plan.
It's
I don't think he can
again,
keep
but
quiet.
see how what a liar he is.
Yeah.
He's saying prime minister, but what he really means is I'm going to be the king of the one world government they're going to set up.
Hmm.
And I do believe he is because there's a lot of people who genuinely give him credence.
Hmm.
A lot of Trump supporters out there,
Yeah.
and that's another thing that's a white pill. White pill is you have to not trust Trump. You have to understand who you're dealing with there. He is in bed with the enemy,
Right.
and people are desperate to trust him right now.
Well, I think, yeah, I mean, the world is so messed up and all these horrible things are happening. I think people are desperate for a savior,
They need a savior,
you
and they
know?
or maybe a movement. They want to get
Yeah,
behind a movement that
yeah,
looks like it's improving things.
right.
And that's what we are.
Exactly.
That's what we
Yeah,
are. But see how what we're up against?
I
We
know.
have to start with convincing people of the problem, because Ingrid Bergman didn't know that the gaslight was being turned down. She
Right.
was questioning her own mind.
Yeah, and
You have
that
a lot of Ingrid Bergmans out there right
yeah,
now.
there's a lot of gaslighting because the news tells you like this is what's happening, but you're seeing something totally different with your own eyes.
Yeah.
But most people will believe what the news is telling them rather than to believe what they're seeing with their own eyes,
No, that's right.
and then also I think people, they are so desperate for a savior or for something good to be happening that they like, say like for Trump, for example, they think he's going to save this whole situation and he's doing all this good stuff that they put blinders on and don't really look at like the other things. It's like when Bill Gates said we can reduce the population through healthcare and vaccines and people are like, "Oh, he didn't really mean he's going to poison all the vaccines." You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
They don't listen to that part even though he says right out verbatim, we can reduce the population through vaccines. Well, when Trump is saying that he's going to be the next prime minister of Israel, among other things, people I think put blinders on and don't like question like why would he say that? That's a weird thing to say. If
It's
you're the
weird. It's not
president,
a funny joke.
no, if you're the president of the United States, why would you ever even think that you'd be like the president or whatever, the leader of some other country?
Plus, it's so hypocritical because his whole campaign was America first.
America first, and now he wants to make Israel great again. Why?
It's
Why
not
are
even
we
make Israel great again. I'm gonna be the next prime minister over there.
why are we like talking about another country like that,
Why do these guys all have dual citizenship too?
That doesn't make any sense.
And Chuck Schumer comes out and he was doing the J6 kind of coverage, going, "Yeah, dude, this is worse than 9/11."
Yeah. You should not be a leader of this country and have citizenship in another country.
No,
That seems like a conflict of interest.
totally. If you're
You
playing for the
know?
Dodgers and the Angels,
Yeah,
and then they play each other, and
right.
you go to bat, and then you go pitch for the other team.
Yeah. So like Otani is pitching for the Dodgers and then he gets up to bat and he goes and bats for the Angels. Like that doesn't happen. That's not right.
And people don't bat an eye.
No.
They
They're
just
just
go,
like,
"Oh,
whatever, I
okay."
guess that's okay. It's that's kind of, the big problem is too many people are too oblivious by choice. It's like, they're willfully ignorant. They're too oblivious and do not want to, they keep the blinders on and they don't want to see what's happening or even accept
I think
the truths that are being said out loud.
I think what you just said is true, but they have an influencer managing their takeaway.
Right.
Everyone's got these influencers.
Yeah.
So if you talk to somebody about their opinion, it's probably given to them by some media influencer.
Yeah. Totally.
And so what we have to do is get people to break free from their influencer. You have to understand your influencer is being foisted on you
Hmm.
for a reason.
Yeah. If it's mainstream media, it's for sure, brainwashing. But if it's, some alternate media like Instagram or whatever, if somebody's got a million followers, that's not organic. If they've got a million followers and they're following two people, they're being foisted and they're being foisted for a reason.
It's kind of like exactly like somebody that goes, "Dude, Joe Rogan's pretty cool, bro. He makes some good points."
Yeah.
It's like, well, dude, that guy is working for the enemy that hates this country. I mean, totally.
Yeah.
People might say, dude, that's not true.
But he's saying that we aren't going to be able to be humans anymore. We should all just get a brain chip.
Get a brain chip, bro. And then the other thing, I remember he was talking to somebody that was a Christian, and he was like, you know, Christian values are antiquated, bro.
It's a thing of the past.
We have a new value system in this country now.
We should rewrite the Constitution.
Yeah, gotta change. Change with the sign of the times, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like he's so evil, but everything now, everything is caramelized.
Yeah, it's a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing.
Wolves in sheep's
Yeah,
clothing and potatoes that look good, but the butter's rancid.
yeah.
You
And
take a big bite and you go, wait a second.
people are so desperate for a leader and for change and for good things to be happening that they they get led astray. They get led astray. And so I just remembered the penguins again. Remember, I bring that up in our last
Totally.
episode? I was watching this documentary about penguins, and it was so interesting because I'm sure this happens in like every animal species, but these penguins, it went through the whole process of like when the female lays the egg and then the male keeps it warm while the
Hmm.
female goes off and she finds food. Well, then she comes back and the after like a couple months, and then the baby hatches, and then after several months the baby has to go off on its own. So all these baby penguins go off like on this trek, like miles and miles on this trek on their
It's
own.
amazing.
It's amazing. And then they all came to this huge like 50-foot cliff, and
Gnarly.
the ocean was below. They had to get into the ocean, and they all stood at the edge of the cliff, and it was super scary. But one penguin was leading the way the whole time, and one penguin was the first. He was the penguin to be the first to jump off the cliff. So the leader, there's always a leader in the group, and there's a lot of followers, but it takes a leader,
And that's who we are.
Yeah,
We're the one penguin that's going to jump off the
we're
cliff.
gonna jump off the cliff.
And
And
what's that cliff?
the well, a lot of people are jumping off the cliff right now. That's not a
No, but
good
it's a
thing, but
metaphor.
yeah, yeah.
It's a mixed metaphor because we've gone over the cliff as a civilization. We've
Yeah,
talked about that. We've used that. But this metaphor, jumping off the cliff, is it's a brave move. It's a risk because anything can happen. 50 feet, you could smash on the rocks and die.
yeah,
Some of them probably did.
yeah, maybe. But
So
that one penguin jumped off, and then soon after, they all
they started,
one by one started all
and
jumping
that's
off.
what's going to happen with people waking up in
Yeah,
red pill because once one starts getting red pilled, then others start getting red pilled.
exactly.
It's kind of like when at Jonestown, the senator comes and goes, "Does any of you guys want to leave?" And a couple of them were like, "You know what? Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like Jim Jones lead me astray." It's like when you finally figured that out. Now that you're in, French Guyana on a compound,
Yeah,
you finally go, you know what? This guy might be a little insane.
yeah,
He's making me drink Kool-Aid every day, and he's telling me like Jim Jones would say stuff like, "You need to forget all contact with your family.
yeah.
You can't talk to your family anymore. They're not with us."
Mm,
That's kind of how he does. He manages them.
uh-huh.
And then what happens is some of them decide to leave,
Yeah.
and then all the other ones start going,
Should we leave too? Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
that we kind of have to have that happen because everyone's kind of been on Jonestown.
right.
I hate to say it, but America is a big cult and
Yeah.
they've all been completely brainwashed with the Kool-Aid. So we're going to have to break people out of the Kool-Aid, but it's going to take a lot of courage. But a lot of people are unwilling to accept what we just put forth
Yes,
because their influencer hasn't kind of given them permission.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's what's going to
I
happen.
think it's really it's scary, and it's hard to see the truths sometimes when it does not align or go along with what you thought to be true for so long. Like I remember when I had like
Mm.
my wake up call with like one of my really good friends sent me that movie, The Fall of the Cabal, and which was gnarly. And
Revealing the method.
it just freaked me out, and I was like, wow, there's these horrible things happening in the world. And then I saw the Porch Boyd incident, and I was like, I can't believe anything anymore. Like it's all lies, and it was super scary. And I felt really sad at first, like all these people I watched on, telling me the news every night, they've been basically like reading a script of lies. And it just, but what happened was
That's
I
interesting.
couldn't unsee it. And I realized that we have to question everything.
it's a good point. It's interesting how it works. And we've talked about how some people just aren't ready.
They're not ready. Not everybody's ready, to like we can plant seeds, but not everybody's ready at the same time to receive the same message at the same time. But, sometimes those seeds that you plant, like they don't always sprout at the same time. Sometimes one sprouts right away, and then sometimes it takes a while, and others might sprout months later,
Mm,
and it might be like a special rain that falls or some other little special ray of sunshine that hits that seed that makes it sprout. And so I think like, we have to just keep planting these seeds,
that's a
and
good point.
people will receive the message when they're ready. And hopefully we haven't all fallen off the bad cliff by that point.
It's got to happen soon.
It's got to happen soon. But I think that more and more people are starting to see what's happening.
I was just
And
thinking about like some Midwest housewife, and she's like, Unslave Your Mind podcast. I'll just give it a shot. I'll give it a shot.
yeah.
And so she listens to us and goes, wow, those people are crazy. I'm going to go back to my Fox News. Oh, where's Kelly? What's her name? That blonde?
Yeah.
Kelly,
Uh,
Megan? No,
Megan Kelly. No, she's not on there anymore.
Megan Kelly. That's right. It's not Kelly or Megan. It's
Yeah.
Megan Kelly.
Yeah.
She's not on there anymore, but maybe she's like got a podcast and she's like, I'm just gonna listen to her
Yeah.
because she's got the right kind of information.
Right.
She sits there and she'll go, oh yeah, this is wrong and this is wrong and this is bad and this is bad, but she's not really telling you what's really going on. She's kind of like Alex Jones. She's gonna kind of placate you with, oh yeah, no, 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 you're right. And those people are just fringe.
They're fringe.
Don't listen to them.
And they're not legit. They don't really like know what they're talking about.
They're not validated. I worked for Fox News for a while, so I'm valid. And
Yeah, I read my script every day on the news for
mhm,
years, so I know what I'm talking about.
that's right. And you see last point, and then I know we got to go. Alex, I saw a video today because he was talking about Gorka, and he was talking about the anti-Semitism czar.
Hmm.
And all of that's done by Trump. That's the Trump administration doing
Yeah,
that to
yeah.
us. So that's people coming in here and saying, don't say anything bad about the country from 1948. Otherwise, directly to jail is worked very good in my country.
Hmm.
So you see him coming out. Alex comes out and he starts talking about that, which is horrible. But then he goes, no, I'm not one of these Nazis who hates everybody from that country from 1948, and like managing your takeaway and
Right.
saying, don't be like Unslave Your Mind podcast because we're going to unseat them as the
Yeah.
zeitgeist. So they're not going to give us credit.
So what do you think the Midwestern housewife is gonna think though
Well,
afterwards?
we have to hope that she goes, these guys are the real deal, and I'm abandoning Fox News. But what I'm saying is probably she's going to be like, that's really scary. What they're talking about is kind of scary. And I'm having a barbecue. It's Memorial Day.
Yeah.
We're going to play some cornhole and I'm going to make mojitos. I'm making mojitos.
Or
So
mint juleps.
they're mint juleps, and then we have cherry jubilee for dessert. So that's what I want to focus on. So I'm going to put Megan Kelly because she's kind of happy.
Yeah.
I think that might be what's going on.
I think we're happy though, too.
Dude, we're happy, but we bring up stuff that makes people go, "Ooh,"
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah,
That's what we have to do. But you have to, I think you're going to have to, you're going to have to leave your comfort zone. Those penguins had to jump off that cliff.
yeah, they had to jump off the cliff, and they were scared, and some of them were like clinging for their lives on the edge, like they didn't want to like fall off the edge, and some of them just kind of fell because they sort of got pushed in, and other ones went running and jumped out. But they all had to go in because they had to get into the ocean to go swim to where they needed to go for food.
Totally.
So, it might be scary to jump off the cliff at first,
It's such a
but
good analogy because
yeah,
we have to jump off that cliff and we have to make that trek because we have to go get the food. The food is taking our country back in freedom.
yeah,
If we don't jump off that cliff, if we just decide, no, I'm just going to stay here and have a campfire on the ledge of the cliff,
yeah,
then you're going to go down. This
right.
country's going to go down and it's going to be gnarly. Like I think the other thing that people don't want to look at, it's kind of black pill, is if we don't right the ship, how gnarly it's going to be.
Exactly. Because once it gets past a certain point, there's no return. Once they
Yeah,
take over and they turn this place into communism and
totally.
we've got a digital currency and a digital life and we're all living in 15-minute cities and
Yeah,
we're not allowed to even like drive our electric cars outside of the perimeter,
it's all
it's over. So I think,
welcome to 1984.
yeah, people need to, we need leaders.
And I don't
And
think that's going to last that long. If they get that system in place, I think it's pretty quick they're going to exterminate everybody.
well,
Like maybe one or two generations.
yeah, I mean, civilizations don't last forever. And when things start going downhill like that, it's over. So,
America is a beautiful experiment that's lasted 250 years. It was the best system ever created. And during the 1950s, it was the most prosperous and most impressive civilization mankind has ever known,
as far as we know,
as far as we know.
there could have been, I think there may have been more advanced civilizations before, and they were destroyed, and new ones were rebuilt. And
But still, look at America was gnarly.
but America
America
was
was
great,
gnarly, it was
and
awesome.
it's imploding right now, and people are destroying it. Like the people are actually destroying
You
it.
have third world barbarians like Ilhan Omar coming here and talking shit about how bad this country is.
Yeah,
And
why
she's in
why is
Congress.
she here then?
Totally.
Yeah. So the white pill is we need leaders to,
Someone's got to jump off that 50-foot cliff.
somebody needs to jump off
There was that first
the
penguin.
proverbial cliff.
We are that penguin.
Yeah, and
We are that
we need
penguin.
other penguins too because we're here and we need other penguins from
We're like
other.
down in the water going, dude, it's okay. Come on, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. So that's
And
the
they're still
white pill.
freaking out. But
It's okay. You can swim,
I
you know?
mean, it's not that scary. I'd rather deal with the truth um that exists rather than
Bury your head in the sand.
I I've never been able to take a blue pill because I'm always perplexed by a little splinter in my mind
Yeah,
going, wait, this isn't
I
true.
know. I ask way too many questions. So I'm just always asking questions. Like if something doesn't make sense or it seems suspicious, I kind of don't like to just go, oh, whatever. I'm just gonna go to Target and like go get my nails done or whatever. I ask questions.
That's so funny. I remember I had to write a paper. I had to write a term paper for college, and it was due the next day, and it was like 8 o'clock at night, and I was
Oh God.
tired, and I just got done eating like this big thing of nachos, and I was like, I just want to lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna put my feet up for a little bit, and I was exhausted. So I put my feet up on the couch and I started watching, but there was this splinter in my mind going, dude, you have to get that paper done. You have to. And then I even thought about not doing it and all the ramifications of not doing it, and it was unacceptable. I couldn't allow myself to just sit on the couch. I had to get up, even as tired as I was, and go write it because I can't just sit there and tune out, neglect. I
Yeah.
can't neglect what I'm supposed to do. And that's what I feel like this is. This is in order for us to just take a blue pill, you're tuning out what you should be doing,
Right.
you know?
That's so true.
So for this one, white pill is okay. I think the gist of this episode is Trump and Alex orchestrated January 6th, and we need to learn from January 6th that it was a controlled opposition operation.
Yeah.
And the next time they try to do one of those, we're going to see through it and we're going to thwart it.
Yes.
What do you think?
I believe so. Yes, because evil always gets thwarted.
It gets thwarted.
Hmm.
And even just a few good people can thwart evil.
Totally.
Will be those.
Awesome.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.